Hey, I realized with Thanksgiving and this kind of being a weird week, I forgot. I didn't forget. I kind of delayed my recap from week 11, which was a very profitable week. So I should have shared this right away. You guys know that I track everything. This was what I did. You can see it's the swings. Started off good, didn't play that much money based on my bankroll. And not really. I honestly don't know why I started with 30 bucks. I had more. I try to do about 5% of my bankroll. I had more than that. But then you see I did go up those 4 straight weeks that I lost. So, what do you do during that when you get a losing streak like this in DFS? Well, I mean, these 2 weeks, the scores were pretty good. I mean, 149 for cash game, 140 for that cash game. You see my GPP score, which saved me that week. But then the process, those next 2 weeks weren't great. I just decided to work harder. And, I think sometimes I go away from what works. I like to have my running back core of being guys that are favored at home, but are going to get a lot of touches, pay down at quarterback, pay down at defense, which I didn't always do. I don't think in some of these that I won. I kind of went with how I felt the slate would be. I think that's what you have to do sometimes. I think that in DFS we get you do get married to doing things automatically, and I would advise don't force it. I've done that before, but I still my basic principles of finding those running backs first, and I say that because they're going to get a bulk of the touches. And with receivers, I would always focus on hyper target guys like a Deontay Johnson, and maybe I didn't want to play a Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill's not really, and I mean like a Tyreek Hill, Calvin Ridley type of guy where they're just those downfield guys like a Gallup. But you can play those guys that have high air yards because they seem to get a lot more targets now in this way of football. But it's okay to go in with a plan and then tinker your plan based on the slate, which I feel like I did. Also, follow me on Discord. You could see hanging with Mike. I don't know what this means. Oh, okay. That's because I'm streaming. Let's get to my cash game, which was really good. This was a great week 11. So I'll walk you through what I did. I thought it was easy with running backs. The matchups. I played a lot of chalky guys. The three running backs I picked, all in good spots. Um, Interesting that Pollard had the worst score of the three, and Robinson lost, but he gets the target. Look at that. 7 receptions, 131 total yards. But the price at home for who he's playing, the price for Singletary at home, who he's playing, that's a weird game. A lot of points early, then not much the second. Then Pollard. So that was easy for me. Then my other lock was McBride. And I knew he was coming in at high ownership, but it was an easy play. My other lock, too, was Purdy at 5,800 against Tampa, a pass funnel team. So then it was here, the receivers. That's where I had a little dilemma, which I think sometimes always coincides with what defense I play. I usually build the running backs. This week I did this. The running backs first, my tight end I knew, and the quarterback. Sometimes you're not going to know your tight end. But if you know, you know, let's see, 3, 4, 5 positions, I was 5 of the 9 I was good with. So then my other dilemma was this. I have to get the Dolphins, right? Implied total of 30.5. How could I go a slate without them? Didn't love that price, but I felt I didn't want to play Mostert because of that whole crowded backfield. I didn't think Waddle was cash game. I didn't want to go up to Tua. So there was really a lone wolf. And when you look at the usage, his worst game for targets was 5. I mean, that's insane to me. So you look at every game, with the exception of one, he's at least had 9. With the exception of 3, he's gone 10 plus. I just figured in this kind of game, he is as easy a play, even at 9,300. Not always are you going to say that. But I figured I had to do it. I cannot believe how high he came in. This is a giant double up that paid 1,500. And I actually was, it doesn't really matter where you finish. But look at how many people thought the same as me. And I think it was because, and it shows you the smarts. And this is a $10 buy-in. You're going to have sharp players in this. A lot of people felt, I got to get somebody from Miami into my lineup. And they didn't like the other guys either. So once I had this in, I realized how chalky he was. And I was debating, because sometimes I do this. I don't like to play 2 players from the same team in case that game, in cash games, you can get burnt that way. In my season long, I have Mahomes and Pacheco, and that game against Denver, they flattened out. But in season long, it's different, because you're going to have weeks where they're not going to come away with points. This week, you'd have to ask yourself, do you feel okay playing 2 guys from Houston? And I did. I had no doubts. I figured that game was going over 50. It didn't matter. But that number, 70% of the field played him. And this had 3,400 people. I could do this in my head, but I don't want to. Almost 2,400 people played Dell. That's more than half, which means this is why it's okay to play chalk. If this pays 1,500, 2,400 are playing him, and more are playing him. So then if those don't work out, it's not going to hurt you, because it's going to hurt, you know what I mean? Because that many people, it's more than half the positions paid that are playing them. So that's why it's okay to play chalk. But what my original plan was going to be, I wasn't going to play Hill. I think I was going to go DJ Moore, Rondell Moore. Or no, maybe I was going to go, I think I was going to go DJ Moore, Rondell Moore, and Ridley, I believe, and pay up here. And when I did all the math after, I would have only had 2 points more. So I took a shot at Watson at 1% ownership, which is crazy. And he went off on Thanksgiving. What did we say there was? I don't want to go back. About 25 people played him. And he almost matched what Rondell Moore did. So this was a great lineup. And I'm happy how that went. My GPPs, I've been telling you guys what I've been doing. I really advise, and I'm not a beginner in this, but I'm still not to the point that I want to be. I would limit, I do dollar buy-ins for any contest, and I'm playing smaller contests. These dollar ones, these are 247 people, I believe. 237. You can put 7 entries in, because I'm not winning. I tried the 3-man. I tried the big contest, and I mean, look I have a better chance at cashing. This is $7.50 on a dollar buy-in. And to win even $7.50 on a single entry with 20,000, you have to finish like in the top 100, which I'm not doing. This is a lineup that I made using Fantasy Labs. And I love this site. I think you guys should use this. You can screenshot my rules. I'll let you have those. You can custom. I do 1 projected ownership under 10. You can do player groups, which means add exactly, 3 of and whoever you want. You can do lots of things with this. But this was an optimized lineup. And this is what it spit out. I mean, look at this. Lawrence to Ridley. This is so correlated beautifully to Ingram. A return with Hopkins. I had McCaffrey. I had Robinson. I had McCaffrey correlated to the 49ers. I had Dell and Moore as a secondary stack, and I finished 8 points away from winning $40. That's the thing with these tournaments, guys. You don't have to $40 on a dollar buy-in. You have a chance to win 40 times your money. This lineup, this was my cash game lineup that made $5. It's hard to put a cash game lineup in any tournament, but I really would advise you guys to do this. I played basically all head-to-heads. Excuse me. Lot of double ups. There's no kind of order. I went 13 in one of my head-to-heads, and most of the contests I played, I did 100 in cash games, 30 in GPPs. Most of my GPPs were, I did do the 3 max, and I didn't have good scores. But let's look at this. Where would my 183 score have fit in a 3 max where there is 19,000? 17, 8. 183. Well, my cash game would have cashed too. Would have been right around here. $4. Okay. 183 would have been about $5. But I got 750 in the other one. But these are harder, guys. I'm just telling you. So I would stick with that. That's my plan. So hope you enjoyed, and good luck in week 12.